Our God is a God of surprises. If God should stop surprising us, then He would be our equal. Our God is a God of surprise. His ways surprise us because they surpass us. God has surprised the world with basically two things: His choices and His judgments. God surprises the world with two things: through His choices and through His judgments. Let's take, for example, God chooses the weak, the foolish, the ignoble, rather than the mighty, the wise, and the noble of the world. It amazes us. It surprises us. He chooses what is weak to bring down what is mighty. He chooses what is foolish to bring down the wise. This is the surprise of God. The feast we celebrate today, the feast of St. Augustine, he chooses the weak and a sinner to be one of the greatest saints of the church. Why would God go to the gutters to pick kings, to the weaklings and pick warriors, to the dump and pick dons? This is because God is ever working on the little things to make them large things. It is His character to create something out of nothing. The world look for already made products. God looks for available raw materials. While the world looks for already made products, God looks for available raw materials. The world runs after celebrities. God celebrates the uncelebrated. He picks fishermen and makes them apostles, picks prostitutes and makes them evangelists. Mary Magdalene is an example. Rahab in the Old Testament, the Samaritan woman at the well, picks weak vessels and make them warriors. Moses, Gideon, Deborah, and Jael, and the feast that we celebrate today, Augustine. He was weak in his flesh, but God chose him to be one of the greatest intellectual saints of the church. But does God require something from the one He wants to transform? Yes, one thing: acknowledgement. He wants our acknowledgement. And how? Today's gospel parable explains. The two servants recognized that their greatness depends on their master. They knew that the master has not finished with them, yet when he gave them small talents, they invested them by working on them. And when they invested and they worked on it with what the master gave them, with those talents, the result was huge. They got promoted. Why? They acknowledged that little things could yield big things when diligence works on them. This is what it means to have the mind of God. God blesses those with creative minds. If you can make the most of the gifts and talents that God has blessed you with, instead of grumbling and complaining, what can I do with it when I'm not competent, or give excuses? But if you could put your creative mind, keep creating more things, that is the shortest way of spelling blessing. May St. Augustine, who made the most of the gifts and talents that God has blessed him with, to be one of the greatest intellectual saints of the church, intercede for us. Amen.